Good Friday morning. Back to the letter to the Corinthians, but it's a good kicker line in Luke. Okay, I want to show it to you. It's interesting. He's saying in this section, it's chapter 9, I think, 9:16, yeah, of the letter to the Corinthians. St. Paul saying, look, and I preach free of charge. Bing, bada, bang, bada, boom. But in the end, he says, what the great part of it very much, he's justifying himself. He must have been taking a shellac, and these guys must have been calling his hand, okay? What's, I don't know. But I think he was having his hands full. He was frustrated. So here's what he says: do you not know that the runners in the stadium all run in the race, but only one wins the prize? Run so as to win. Every athlete exercises discipline in every way. They do it to win a perishable crown, but we an imperishable crown. And this is really something good. I love this part. Thus I do not run aimlessly. I do not fight as if I were shadowboxing. No, I drive my body and train it. This is an analogy, get it? For fear that after having preached to others, I myself shall be disqualified. Boy, that is the truth. There isn't a minister who can breathe that doesn't know that. That we've been called to preach, okay? My vocation, that's what he's talking about, okay? He says, if I preach the gospel, this is the reason for me to boast, for an obligation has been imposed on me. And woe to me if I don't preach it. I felt my vocation was imposed. In that sense, I felt called. When Michelle, my niece, asked me many years ago why I became a priest, I said to her, I felt called, and I meant it. It wasn't my idea. It wasn't my idea at all. I wasn't encouraged by it, my family, or nothing like that. I felt called. I felt called. And I feel called all the time, preach the gospel. I don't feel like getting up every morning to get up and go to Mass, but I do it because that's my calling. And I love the people in the parish. So, yeah, that's what, and also I have a deep sense. What I preach, I have to hear. I have to hear what I'm preaching. In other words, I'm subject to the very gospel that I preach. I hope I don't preach in vain. I hope in these videos, I do it because I was asked to do them, and I'm trying my best to do a decent job with them, intelligent. Perhaps it provides some comfort for people. Some people say that to me. I don't know. All I do is do the best I can with it, but I feel a deep obligation out of love for the people who are in the parish and whoever is listening, my friends, but also an obligation because I've been called to do it. And so I do it. I just hope I do it faithfully in a manner that doesn't, in the end, cost me, in the sense that I don't fail the very gospel that I preach, that I don't lose, that I preach it honestly and I hear it honestly. See? I hope so. I hope that I myself am redeemed by the very gospel that I preach. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I hope I'm not removed from the very gospel that I preach. That I am the first to be redeemed by it. You get what I'm saying? That I hear it and I hear the calling to fulfill my vocation as you hear yours to be fulfilling your vocation, whatever it is, marriage, whatever it may be. And that we don't preach a gospel and then forfeit the very gospel that we have preached. That's the truth. And therefore to love one another in such a manner, to live the lives we've been called to live, and to live them as effectively as we can. I mean that. So even, I don't know how else to put it. I feel a very real obligation to preach the gospel because I was called to do it, but also to receive the word of the gospel, not in vain. That it isn't just a word out there, get paid to preach it. It's not that at all. But because the gospel is part of me, and I have to share it, but I also have to hear it. And in many ways, the preaching of the gospel is preached back at me through the parishioners, through the people who hear the word and how they respond to it. I'm as much the learner as I am the recipient, as I am the preacher. It's really interesting because I really experience it that way, especially at St. Mark's, because I've been given homilies to these same people, this immediate group for 23 years. No, excuse me, 33 years. What am I talking about? 33 years, okay? Yeah. And if you go to some elements, 51 years. And I take seriously the people who sit in front of me. The way they respond to me elicits from me either a shift in my thought or my responsiveness to them. It's a conversation. I preach, but they're listening, and the response to their listening is itself a voice that I hear. It tells me something. I hear something in it. I'm responding to the community as well as preaching to it. I'm also listening. I'm listening sometimes I'm listening even to the silence. And I'm hearing what I'm called to hear. Some man said to me the other day, he said to me that he listens to these videos. He might be watching it right now, okay? These videos, and he said he found it uplifting. So, wow, no kidding. See, I don't know. See? But that meant a lot to me that he said that to me. See? It meant a lot to me. Because I think, okay, I guess this is important. You see? I'm not just doing it, but people are responding to it and are nurtured by it. And I've been called to nurture. I'm called to do it. I'm not free not to do it. And I want to do it. At a given moment, not always today. So when I'm doing this, I think more seriously. I'm struggling because the Corinthian letter is tough. It's not easy for me to comment on it. I'm struggling, okay? But it's all right. We all struggle together, okay? This is the text. This is how I hear it, you see? And we take this is Luke's gospel. How do you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter from your eye when you don't notice the wooden beam in your eyes? I think we help each other take the splinters and wooden beams out of each other's eyes. There's a wonderful little nun that sits there. She comes about 3 days a week. Oh, God, she's a star. She is a star, Sister Gwen. Oh, man. She's stolen everybody's heart because she's determined to keep me from using bad words. She charges me $5 for every time I use a bad word. So everybody in the place is waiting for me to slip, and then I have to give her $5. I think at this rate she can build a new convent. Whatever. But it's a delight because you can feel the life of the faith. You can see the life of the faith. And we're giving as well as receiving, you see. We're constantly. And so the beams in each other's eyes, we remove each other's beams. The light, we remove the part, what is he called? We remove the splinter in each other's eyes, you see. But we also recognize we might have a log in our own, you see. It's something delightful in the self-redemptive moments that come, the redemptive moments that come in the community. This sisters is just a perfect example. See, but so are the others. The guys that are sitting, the men and women are there for years sitting out. They get a kick out of watching it all happen, but it's a reformative kick. It's one way it's delightfully fun, but another way we're learning from each other. We're witnessing to each other. And in that sense, we help to get the splinters out of each other's eyes. I mean that. I hope I haven't just wasted your morning. I don't know. Some of the texts I'm having a little trouble with this week. You can see it. I'm doing my best.